Hello there guys, PC Guy here, and we're going to be taking a look at SINoALICE. It's a game that has been released in Japan already 3 years ago in 2017, and just recently worldwide, now in 2020. And I don't usually cover mobile games, but this one is kind of an exception. This game comes with some very interesting credentials, if we might call them that. It has been developed by Square Enix, further distributed now in 2020 by PokeLab worldwide. But not only it has Square Enix behind it, but also has been developed by the team that also was involved in series like Nier Automata or just the Nier series in general and Drakengard. So that does give us some interesting hints about the quality of the game. It is available both in Android and iOS, should be available worldwide, so you can play it wherever you want, and I will be playing it not really on my mobile device. I will be using Bluestacks, which is basically an Android emulator for your PC. This is because it's a lot easier to record, and also because my phone is kind of full and I don't have the space for it. I can explore how the program works and its advantages some other time, but for now, let's see how this game works, and drop a comment down below if you'd be interested in seeing that video of how to play Android on your PC. Obviously, playing on PC, you have this weird overlay where it's not exactly full screen, but in any case, you have a choice of servers between US and Asia. If you're in Europe, well, I guess US is probably the way to go in terms of latency and such. The game is an RPG game with both single player and multiplayer elements. So right off the bat, I get the feel that this is going to be a very kind of monetized game in this way that usually games like this on mobile, when you have a choice to get random stuff out of, cards like that, usually it's heavily monetized in that sense. However, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt for now of how it actually works in that aspect. I might want to add that in terms of sound effects, I definitely advise you to play this with a headset if you can, because the music is pretty great, which was also a theme in Nier and games like that.
あまたの欲望が集いし場所。愛された者、呪われた者、殺された者。彼女たちは自らの未来を書き換えることができるのだろうか。楽しい！最高です！私は私の信じる者のために戦う。私の前に立つなら誰であれ敵だ。兄様は私を守ってくださいね。かぼちゃの馬車が迎えに来そうだね。おはようございます。きついお仕置きをお願いいたします。
Okay, so now I kind of get why they call this game it's going to be a sort of a dark fantasy game, judging by the characters. Yeah, it's a retake on usual fantasy setting characters, as you could see on the cinematic. Pretty good, kind of on the Square Enix tradition, even though it's for mobile. And yeah, it's definitely a bit on the anime-ish style, which is to be expected from a Square Enix game, I suppose. You have a choice of four starting characters, which are, well, like I mentioned, sort of dark fantasy iterations of popular, well, story characters, let's say. And yeah, it does not really explain very well what these characters will, how they will differ in terms of skills. But being a Japanese RPG game, you can kind of assume that it's going to be, I kind of think it's going to be sort of Final Fantasy-ish in terms of development. Let's just pick one, I guess. So now, after I don't know how long, we're finally getting to, let me mute the game for a second. Finally getting to, after, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes of cutscenes and explanation and stuff, we're finally getting to the actual game. And so far, there has not been a whole lot of explanation of how it works or what your character choice influences, what that it does. So hopefully, we'll be able to see that now. So let's see what it actually does in the tutorial. By the way, don't take this video as much as a review or anything like that. It's a first impression game video for something that... Okay, so I guess you can make combos if you drag like that. Pew 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 pew. Anyway, this does not really explain you much how it works other than... Like, does it matter what order you click? So yeah, in terms of tutorial, not so much of an explanation so far. And yes, like I was expecting, it has a very typical JRPG feel to it in terms of the combat, not so much the controls. Apparently it's time-based as well. But yeah, I guess the faster you swipe through the levels, killing everything, then the better you do. I suppose that is the objective. It would be nice if they actually let us know. The UI looks very typical for a phone game, really, with the menu at the bottom and you know, gold and I guess it's XP here at the top. It also has a multiplayer aspect to it, as you can see here by gold locked and such. But let's see what it tells us to do further. So that was the tutorial, apparently. At least the combat tutorial. Seems like that was it. It would be nice if actually gave us a bit more of an explanation. There's a few banners down here with ads and events and things, like celebrations and such. And you can click to expand and see what they are all about. And yeah, let's see menu, what sort of options do we have in here. We don't really have an explanation yet on... Okay, so shimmering twilight crystals, I suppose, are the premium currency of this game. Yeah, and you can use them to, well, summon items, heroes, and classes, etc. Apparently, I have 0 of those right now, so no point looking at it. Bunch of gear and class upgrade stuff here, which I suppose will be developed throughout the game. Main story, co-op battle, and events we have here. I guess I have to click in here. And these... Oh, okay. Time to choose a story, it says. Apparently, okay, so you have to progress with all these different characters through the story. Sometimes I suppose they intertwine. It might need requirements of reaching them with both characters to actually get here. And they all seem to end up at chapter 5 right now. Can I go back? Apparently not, so I guess I have to go through this. Start here. I'll click here on chapter 1, see what the story actually tells us. we'll see exactly how it is. Let's see, start, see how the combat is, if it's any different with this character or not.
薄暗い音、血の匂い。この世界がどこなのかは知らない。だが、なすべきことは分かっていた。自分を生み出した作者、ルイス・キャロルを復活させること。
Okay, so it seems like every character has its own story arc. Okay, so it's a side-scrolling, wave-based skill points. Okay, so apparently each time you use a weapon, it's a different skill, and it takes skill points to actually use them. Skill points are regenerating over time. And there seems to be an elemental kind of thing. Summon system, okay. Okay, now that that chapter is cleared, I suppose the rest will be more actual gameplay. That said, combat was not exactly the most... Not what I was expecting, to be honest. I thought it would be a bit more skill-based, learning skills, that sort of thing. Seems to be a lot weapon-based. The weapons apparently have featured skills, that is what you can use with the skill points. And... okay, another pop-up. And sorry, trying to push some transactions on our throats. And in any case, it does seem to not really explain a whole lot of stuff at you at the start. You apparently have event missions, daily missions, which apparently is at daily, so you can get some rewards every day from completing specific things. And you have just story progression-based goals that also give you some rewards, which in this case are those crystals that apparently you use to summon stuff and to basically get new weapons, new skills, and just progress through the game. You seem to have a present box, not sure where the presents come from. Possibly from completing special tasks, events, or sending between other people. Purification, let's click on it and see exactly what it is. Oh, this is the time trial thing that the tutorial gave us. Let's get through it just... Apparently I'm getting XP for this, and it says until rank 20 I have endless tries at this, so suppose you could keep grinding this all the way until rank 20? The only limitation seems to be how fast you actually are on swiping through all these enemies. You could keep repeating that until you are there. Now, Hookie's path seems to be kind of telling you what to do to get started in the game. Let's take a look at the gear that we have. Well, recommended automatically sets the gear, which probably is not the, let's say, optimal way to go through it when you are progressing, more at the endgame stage, but here for now, you can click what you prefer in terms of affinity. This is the elemental part of the game. I guess some are strong against others, and weak against others, I suppose. Also, no explanation so far on what this actually means in terms of weapon types, etc. So let's just go with whatever. Strongest. Hit me with it. I don't have much gear, so it won't really matter, but yeah. So far, I don't want to make this video way too longer than it should. I'll dive into it again. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know if you want me to do more of a deep dive in the game and explanations and an actual review. But first impression, storyline has some potential. I do have some faith in Square Enix to make a decent story game. As far as actual game mechanics go, not super impressed so far. Not disappointed either, mind you, but I was kind of expecting something slightly different. As far as actually getting you into the game and explaining how to play the game, the tutorial could use some work. The battle system seems a bit, so far at least, a bit simplistic, and the gear system, well, more like this whole grimoire system for summoning stuff, seems to be the monetization grab of the game, which, not blaming them for that, this is a free-to-play game that obviously needs money to keep going, so I'll have to see as I play the game more exactly how essential it is. Is it a pay-to-win kind of thing, or is it a boost that even if you are not paying and just playing the game, can you still compete reasonably well with people that are paying? That's what we are going to need to see. So I'll do a follow-up video on this once I have the time to actually dive into a little bit more. This was just to give you guys a look at how the game actually looked like, how the combat was, and if it was worth putting your time into it. So this has been EthicVC, guy. Let me know if you want another video on this as a follow-up. This was a very superficial thing, so yeah, I understand if some of you guys wanted something more of a deep dive. So let me know if you do want that, and I will look into that for a video for next time. So I'll see you guys next time, and have fun in the meantime.